Hi class, I hope your first week has gone well. I wanted to make a quick video for those of you who might be having a little trouble accessing some of the material for this first week. And just know that I know it's kind of a rough start. I'm still recovering from COVID. So anything that we need to kind of get straightened out, we can get that done next week when we meet on Wednesday. So don't get too stressed out about it. Anyway, so here I am on our INRW homepage on Brightspace. Notice that it's always going to land here on this announcements page. So always just look first and make sure that there's not a new announcement, which there probably will be later, but there's not now. And then you can go up here to content to just get started. Okay, so first notice here on the left that you've got kind of a table of contents area where you can access anything you need to right away. So the overview is where you'll find the copy of the syllabus, where you can find a lot of MCC resources, and you might want to download this before you do your syllabus quiz, which I know many of you have already finished. You can get a course schedule here, which just tells you what you have, what's actually due, when your due dates are. And then you can access Connect Lab here, and I went ahead and put up a new link here so you can more easily access Connect, but we'll come back to that shortly. But right now we're going to go straight to week 1. Of course, in week 1 I give you some directions to get you started here, and then the first thing you have to do is do your syllabus quiz just to make sure that you've read that. So like I said, you can click on the syllabus up here, and then I would click download and then just have it open while you take that quiz. Like I said, most of you have already done that. And then your next task would be to go here and send me that email. And most of you did this and did very well. So thank you. So once you've done the email, the next task would be to go down here to the pre-reading strategy section and this is your week 1, chapter 3, chapter 8 readings. So since a lot of you didn't get your books yet, I went ahead and added a PDF document for the week 1 readings here. So I recommend that you just click on that first. And it is going to open here in its own box, but again, I would download this so that you have it available while you're doing your practice exercise in Brightspace so you can keep looking at it. So I'll have this open here in a new window, and this is all of the readings. I've highlighted the assigned parts for you. And then I can come back here to Brightspace, and you can use these arrows. They're at the top and the bottom of the screen to get between activities. So I'm just going to click Next. And I'm going to go through the previewing text chapter 3. So this is just a video of me presenting the PowerPoint presentation to you, and then this is the PowerPoint presentation if you just want to download it and keep it for your notes. And then once you've done that, you can go down here to chapter 8, titles, introductions, and conclusions. And the reason I put this with the pre-reading strategies is because titles, introductions, and conclusions are extremely important in giving you information about the text you're going to read before you even read it. So looking at titles, introductions, and conclusions is an important step in pre-reading strategies, and that's why I put these two things together. So if you notice here, the first thing you have to do is you have this task, is this a straightforward title or a creative title? And this is just a practice straight from the book that I've put into an activity on Brightspace. So it's not really a quiz, it's just a practice exercise. It's just called a quiz because that's the platform on Brightspace that we're using for you to answer the questions. So no pressure. But your assigned reading was here, pages 257 to 258. And if you look here in the week 1 readings document, if you scroll down to the next section here, you see the next highlighted section it starts at 257. So that would just be this first section here that you would use, and then the rest of the reading to finish the next activity. So you can just click on this, and then you can click here. Now it says I've already started, so it'll probably say start quiz, and I've got this so that you can do multiple attempts if you need to return to it. So it says continue quiz, and then when it opens up here, we'll just read the directions. So the directions are: read each of the titles that follow and indicate whether it is a straightforward title or a creative title. Then make a prediction about the text content. So of course this is a practice directly from your book. And if you look at the readings here, so let's see, the first part of the direction say, is this a straightforward title or a creative title? And the question, so we have this title, Keys to Passing Algebra. So this is a title of a text. And if we look here, let's make sure we get to the beginning of our reading. Okay, let's scroll through, and I can see here this section, the primary purpose of a title is to give readers an idea about the contents of the essay or to make readers curious about it. Many essays have straightforward titles, as the following example shows. And then we have these examples here of the content of an essay and the straightforward title. So let's look at this first one. An essay explaining ikebana, the Japanese art of flower arranging. The title is What is Ikebana? It's a straightforward title because it asks this question, what is Ikebana? And when you ask this question, we would assume that the text is going to tell us what Ikebana is. So that's pretty straightforward, right? So a straightforward title is going to very directly tell you what the essay is about, while a creative title might hint. So if you scroll down here, you can see this. These are examples of creative titles. So it says, some titles are creative. They provide more than a straightforward glimpse into the text content. Consider these titles. An essay explaining ikebana, the Japanese art of flower arranging. A creative title could be Ikebana, it's not just for Japanese florists. So notice we have the same essay here, but this time the title doesn't tell us exactly what it's about. So I don't know by this title, Ikebana, it's not just for Japanese florists. I can't tell you for sure that they're going to tell us what Ikebana is. It could tell us who it's for, right? So this title's a bit more creative, though it still kind of gears us toward the right thing. So just because your title is creative doesn't make him just be completely off the wall. But these are some examples, and this is the reading. So let's go back to the quiz here. So the instructions tell you for each of these titles to read the title, decide whether it's straightforward or creative, and then make a prediction about the text content. So in the box here, I'm going to type either straightforward or creative. And then Keys to Passing Algebra, what do you think that this text is going to be about? I predict this text will be about... Okay, so you'll just do that for each one, and that's how you answer these. So you'll toggle back here, kind of look through the text, look at the examples to get an idea of how you'll want to answer, and then answer here. So, and then notice how once I finish typing my answer, it'll hit saved. So you'll just want to make sure you see saved on each box, and then you'll hit submit quiz. Okay, so once you've finished that one, let me get the next arrow and go on to the next activity, which we have this introductions PowerPoint. Before you go through the entire PowerPoint, it's important that you read this down here because it's kind of an introduction to the PowerPoint, and also read the text. So this PowerPoint is to give you some examples. It's really the text, what you're reading in here. After the title, everything after the title, right? When you get down here to introductions, you're going to read about introductions. And it's really this, what you're reading in here, and the PowerPoint is just going to give you some examples of different introductions. So you'll want to read that, and then you can view this PowerPoint, and you can also download the PowerPoint to your computer as well, which might give you a better viewing experience. But once you've done that, you can just hit next again. And then you'll have this next quiz, which is the practice 9. So remember, it's not really a quiz, it's just a practice exercise from the book to go along with the reading. So you'll hit start quiz because you've still got your reading open here that you can refer back to. And just carefully read the instructions here. So it says the introduction from an essay follows. Read the introduction and then answer the analysis questions that follow. So you have this introduction here. Passage A, introduction from probing question. Is just say no an effective drug approach? by Tom Fitzgerald. So we have a title, an author, and an intro. Many people remember the famous anti-drug slogan coined by former First Lady Nancy Reagan, "Just say no." Critiqued by some for reducing a complex issue to a catchphrase, Reagan's campaign is generally considered to have been unsuccessful, and the phrase "just say no" has become a pop culture joke. And then you have this first question. What strategy did the writer use to write this introduction paragraph? So if you look back here in your reading, you're going to get all of these strategies for introduction. So you're going to decide which strategy the author used. And if you downloaded the PowerPoint, you could also use that to look at some other examples that are going to show the examples of the strategies, and you can use that to help you decide. So first you'll just answer that by looking at these different strategies and deciding which strategy the author used in this introduction, and you'll answer that question. And then in the next question, it says, what do you predict the essay will be about based on the introduction and title? So remember, you don't have a whole text here. This is part of your pre-reading strategies. So just based on this title, probing question is just say no, an effective anti-drug approach. And this short introduction, what do you think this author is going to write about? And put your prediction here. And this is practicing your pre-reading strategies. Okay, and then you're going to do the same with the next text. So you have a title, author, and you have an introduction, and you're going to answer these same questions. You're going to identify the introduction strategy used based on the readings here, and you're going to predict what the essay will be about, and then you'll just hit submit quiz. And so those are your practice exercises for the week for Brightspace. So we'll click here to open Connect in a new window. And then enter your McLennan email address here. If this is your first time here, of course, you will have to sign up for an account, and then you'll select the temporary access option. And then don't worry, we'll turn it into permanent, but just select temporary access to go ahead and get in. I've been here before, so it's going to go ahead and open to a different class for me, and I need to make sure I'm in the right class because we are 402-100, not 25. So I'll go here to Menu, Classes, and then our class, Mr. Hoover's INRW, is going to be this copy of INRW 402. Okay, and once you're in, you'll see all of the units assigned to you here. So you start with Unit 1. And then click this little blue arrow here. And click begin if you haven't started yet. And then each lesson will have, it's like a quiz with questions, and each one will have lessons that you can complete. So if you need extra practice with something, you'll go through the lessons, and you can keep repeating them until you feel comfortable with it. And hopefully a lot of this is going to coincide with what we're learning in class. So I'll go here to Assignment and click Continue. And then notice we have all of these assignments here, and everything's kind of grayed out, but I'm going to scroll down with this arrow on the right side until I see this one that's not grayed out. Notice how it's lighter than everyone. So this is the one that is open and assigned to me. So I'll click the blue arrow here to get started, and I am already starting. So, and then you're gonna go through these questions, and they'll take probably about an hour each. So at least an hour, sometimes longer. So make sure you give yourself plenty of time and pay lots of attention, because each time you get an answer wrong, you'll have to repeat it. So I'm just going to go back because I'm not going to complete this right now. So we can hit here, and I can go back to assignment. But just notice, I just want to scroll down again. Notice that not all of these are assigned to you. You can't get into any of these. They're grayed out. But you'll scroll down the page until you see these with a bar where they are assigned to you. Now, I can't get into this one yet because I have to finish Unit 1 before I go on to Unit 2. But as soon as I finish Unit 1, I can go on and do Unit 2. So I hope that helps with getting into Connect and getting started on your Connect lab, and also accessing and answering the questions for the quizzes. Remember that we'll meet on January 20th. That's Wednesday. We'll meet in class for the first time. We'll start to get to know each other and kind of smooth out all of the rough start that we've had. Have a great long weekend, and know that I'm here by email, or we can set up a Zoom meeting at any time if you need to, if you have any other questions. Thank you. Good night.